Hey everybody, my name is Munir Mirza, and I'm the General Manager of End User Computing here in AWS. We have a jam-packed session for you here today where we're going to talk about how to reimagine your workforce with AWS's End User Computing services. I would love for everybody to walk away with three main takeaways from today. First, for new customers, I'd love to give you a little bit of perspective and some introduction into the services that we have. Second, I'd love to take you through some of the lessons that we've learned and some of the feedback that we received throughout 2020. And third, would love to package all that up and share with you my vision for the future of end user computing. Let's dig in. So our category is comprised of 5 services. Amazon Workspaces, which is a secure cloud desktop. Amazon AppStream, which allows you the ability to stream non-persistent applications and desktops to your end users. Amazon WorkDocs, which is a secure document managed service. Amazon WorkLink, which is our secure remote browser service. And Amazon Silk, which is our web browser available exclusively on our first-party devices like the Fire TV or Fire Tablet. Now, customers typically choose our services for a wide variety of reasons that make sense for people migrating to the cloud. Fundamentally underpinning the number one reasons that people consistently choose end user computing from AWS is that we offer a fully managed service. That means you don't have to do the undifferentiated heavy lifting of operating a traditional virtual desktop interface environment. So all those legacy servers that you've typically had to manage with on-prem is something that we take care of for you. Now, customers tell us that the things that they enjoy by moving to AWS's end user computing services are increased security, increased reliability. They love the fact that we publish a 99.9% uptime SLA. We offer increased agility so that you can scale up and scale down to your workforce's desire, and we drive costs down as much as we possibly can. Now, the use cases that customers often come to us with involve things like contingent workforces or mergers and acquisitions, i.e., how can you get staff up and running as quickly as you possibly can with some of our services, or app migration and compute-intensive apps. These are the types of things that customers traditionally think about VDI as a solution for. But throughout 2020, the big theme that we really heard was workforce continuity, the ability to keep your staff and students up and running seamlessly throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. We've enabled contact center agents, we've enabled remote workforces and work from home, and last but not least, remote students and remote labs. We've learned very clearly that workforce continuity is a big part of what we offer for our customers. And that's why we've got tens of thousands of customers. And if you take a look at the slide here on the screen, you can see that they range from a number of different industries and a number of different countries worldwide, from public sector like governments and schools, to major independent software vendors, to some of the biggest companies in the world in the financial services, in retail, and household names as well. We are so pleased and honored that we have the opportunity to work with you on a regular basis. So we started 2020 with the same mission that we've started any year, which is the ability to deliver securely and consistently the opportunity for you users to get work done from anywhere and from any device. Now, obviously, the COVID-19 pandemic changed things immensely for us. And we reacted very, very quickly. First, we started by scaling up really, really rapidly with some of the biggest customers out there. And second, we offered a free tier, an expanded free tier from what we currently offer for 3 months. And we received an overwhelming amount of positive feedback about that we extended it for another 3 months after that. I can't thank you enough for trusting AWS with these critical workloads that you brought to the table. And I'd like to share with you 4 of the really mission-critical workloads that we've had a chance in working with customers together throughout 2020. First, here at Amazon, we started 2020 with about 25,000 workspaces deployed. And as COVID-19 started to enforce work from home capabilities and requirements, Amazon added 3,000 workspaces a week to now over having 100,000 workspaces deployed for employees. One of the biggest counties in the country, LA County, their internal services department enabled over 30,000 employees to work remotely using Amazon AppStream. And we're not just here in the United States enabling mission-critical workloads. We've been working with companies such as Hankook Corporation in South Korea and other countries across the world. Hankook was able to take just 2 weeks to enable all their call centers to work remotely. And what they realized was they've got a savings of over $500,000 in real estate costs per month. And if you're anything like me, you've been eating out quite a bit in order to help the restaurant community going throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Very proud to say that I've been working with Grubhub to scale up over 1,200 of their staff in just 2 days. Now, these are just 4 of the stories of mission-critical workloads that we wanted to cover with you today. But we've also invited, as we have in many other reInvents, a couple other companies. First, Johnson & Johnson, a pharmaceuticals company. It's a household name. They do medical devices. They do consumer goods. They've been a Workspaces customer for a number of years. Second, a human and health services company, Maximus. This is their story in their words.
Maximus is a company that is largely all about connecting citizens either at the state level or at the national level with a variety of health and human services. As you might imagine, as COVID has caused disruption across the country, a lot of our customers themselves are overwhelmed, just trying to provide information, contact tracing, and resources that these folks need. And we were put in a position where we had to very quickly turn what were fixed call center facilities into completely virtual call center facilities, and that's where Amazon Workspaces came in. We were able to very quickly work with Amazon to take that session from our cloud-based telephony, embed it into an Amazon Workspace, and extend it out to at least 24,000 employees.
So J&J's mission is to deliver transformative healthcare solutions that improve the lives of our patients and customers around the world. The impact that COVID has had on our workforce is probably very similar to what has occurred with most companies. Remote work became the new norm. 3 out of 4 people that were traditionally at the office became remote workers fairly overnight. With Workspaces, we're able to get people up within hours of them being onboarded, or if they have a physical issue with their PC, we are able to give them a virtual desktop in a couple of hours. So it's really a continuation, and in some of our core business areas where we've got vaccine preparedness activities going on. When it comes to remote work, there's no more secure remote access model than virtualization. So when we look at the security context of it, we prefer folks to be on a virtual desktop or a virtual app within AppStream.
One of the things that we're realizing now is that our options are quite a bit wider than we thought they were. Incorporating Amazon Workspaces gives us quite a bit of flexibility to really look at teams by task and figure out which ones of them are frankly capable of working from home indefinitely. And that's a big plus, both from a cost savings perspective, but also from an employee engagement and employee satisfaction perspective.
We have a commitment to our patients and customers to continue delivering innovation, and we can't have an impact what COVID-19 translated to in terms of everyone working remotely affect our ability to perform our critical jobs. And so our strategy and everything that we do is to continue to enable that critical work to happen uninterrupted.
Thank you, John from Maximus and Jeff from Johnson & Johnson, for your continued partnership. I look forward to working with you even further as we move forward into the future. And thank you to my team for the late nights and countless hours that you've spent supporting our customers and building new features throughout 2020. Thank you to all of our customers for your continued support and for the opportunity to work on the mission-critical workloads like we have here together. And finally, thank you to the great folks who work in the AWS data centers who keep our services up and running 24/7. But looking to the future, 2021 is a new year, and it's our opportunity to reimagine the way that we approach end-user computing here in AWS. Now, I'm reminded of all of the discussions that I've had with a number of customers throughout 2020 and in years prior as well. And two of the key themes that continue to come up but really came across with customers in the last 2020 and the last year was we've got to really be prepared for disruptions. Obviously, they can happen at any time, and we look forward to serving you as those disruptions come up. And second, that legacy licensing practices are really holding companies back from driving the type of economics they were expecting from moving to the cloud. And so as we started to think about the future of 2021 and beyond, we were remiss at trying to get out our crystal ball and figure out what that future would look like. So we instead took a cue from our CEO, Jeff Bezos, and we asked ourselves, what are the things we don't expect to change over the next 10 years? Here's the list that we came up with. First, we expect that end users are going to want more choices and better experiences. Next, we continuously hear that protecting corporate IP is cardinal to the security teams and enterprises that are out there. I next can't imagine a day where a CIO comes to me and says, yeah, you know what, Munir, make it more expensive for me. We are going to continue to have to work on driving costs out of end user computing. And finally, a little bit of a tailwind is that networks continue to get faster and better. And so as we think about how all of these things tie together, the one theme that we came up as a unifying element was virtualization. Virtualization is what's going to enable that security. It's going to enable lower costs. It's going to enable more experiences and more choices for your end users. And it's going to continue to get better as networks get better as well. And as a result, what we landed on, our vision of the future, is a world where the most productive people used virtualized applications by default. Now, we started working very adamantly on what that future is going to look like here in past 2020. And we centralized on three key themes that we knew we had to build features against. In fact, we delivered 38 features against these three key themes. Security and agility is always going to be top of mind when people are looking at AWS. Improved economics. We've got to build features and deliver them to customers that drive costs out of your businesses. And improved end user experiences. We won't be satisfied until you push us to the very best experiences that your users have. And some of those features along the lines we've delivered are aimed exclusively at help address those disruptions that you faced throughout 2020. One of them that I'm very proud to announce is the Workspaces cross-region redirection feature. With this feature, Workspaces users can use the same registration code to log in to a disaster recovery region in a different availability zone. And for customers who are very keen on automation and alerting, integration with Route 53 and CloudWatch will allow you to know whether that disruption event is happening and react using Workspaces. We took economics very seriously and launched a new service effectively with our non-persistent desktops on AppStream 2.0. This was hugely beneficial to a number of customers as they were able to scale up and scale down very effectively, again, without having to manage the hardware required in doing so. And of course, we want to make it very familiar for your users to move to our services. And so we launched support for Microsoft Office Professional Plus on Workspaces for Bring Your Own License. This way, customers can continue to use the tools that they're familiar with and have the pay-as-you-use pricing that AWS is famous for. Now, we hear you loud and clear on end-user experiences as well. If you're anything like me, you've been using a number of different video conferencing apps throughout 2020, and you expect that number to continue to grow into the future. And so I'm very proud to announce the GA of AppStream's real-time audio-video capabilities supporting video conferencing apps. With Workspaces, we've got audio and video capabilities that are in beta now. Now with this, the really critical thing that we wanted to land here for you is that we aren't going to stop at any one or two types of video conferencing solutions. Our protocols have to encompass all the different ways that customers do audio-video. And what better way to talk about protocol than announce general availability of our Workspaces streaming protocol. This is something that I announced in beta for customers at reInvent last year. And it's something that we've been working very, very hard on throughout 2020 to bring to you as generally available. Now, as a refresher, if you recall, Workspaces streaming protocol is built cloud native. And what that means is we took the microservices approach, decoupling the streaming protocol from the workspace itself so that your compute resources on the workspace are used for the types of applications and tasks that your users are doing. Separately, we're able to offload metrics analysis, encoding, decoding, and codec selection onto a different box so that we can give your users a high fidelity and consistent experience. Now, one of the scenarios that we were really keen on enabling was a scenario around data sovereignty. So imagine that workload where you've got a user in one country accessing a workspace in another country for data sovereignty reasons. This is critical, and we've seen it time and time again with our customers, not just throughout 2020, but over the years working with Workspaces. With this, we aim to address some of the issues like high packet loss and high latency that you typically observe over these longer distance connections. Now, I've been using Workspaces streaming protocol as my primary workspace for several months now. And a view of what it's like in the day of the life of Nir Mirza here in my house, working remotely in 2020, also tied together with our protocol, is something that I'd like to show you next. Check it out.
We are Unicorn Disruption! And we are here to rock!
Disruption, all right. Maple, let's go find a quieter place to work. I gotta get this done.
Welcome, everybody, to the Loft event here in San Francisco.
The packet loss is crazy up here. Can't use my workspace. Just a second, Maple. I have an idea for my team to work on something to fix this. Okay, girls, big announcement.
Is this gonna take long, Dad? Because I gotta practice my stage dive.
Relax. You know how Amazon Workspaces runs my desktop in the cloud, which allows me to securely access it anywhere and from any device, right?
Of course.
Well, the big news is we just finished the Workspaces streaming protocol.
Yay!
Bring it in. Thank you, Maple. Thank you. All right, girls, let me explain. WSP is a new protocol for Amazon Workspaces that keeps it running in some poor network conditions. Do you want to know how?
Obviously.
Well, it decouples the streaming protocol from the workspace. This lets WSP offload metric analysis, codec selection, and encoding decoding to specialized microservices that run on AWS.
Dad, you had me at decoupling the streaming protocol.
Right? And WSP can adapt its codecs to real-time changes in each user session, providing a consistent experience.
We really respect you and your work, Dad.
Aw, thank you. You didn't really have to say that. All right then, let's get back to it.
So the cloud provides that ability to be elastic.
We had them at decoupling the streaming protocol.
Now, obviously, my family and I had a ton of fun shooting that, and I want to say thank you to the production crew who was able to work through and film that for us. But it's not always fun in games with our Workspaces streaming protocol. We are very, very eager to get your feedback and to continue iterating and drive more and more performance improvements and a better end user experience overall with this protocol. Now, throughout my talk today, I've spent a lot of time with applicability of features and customers based on our experiences with enterprises throughout 2020. But that's not where the buck stops. We continue with a significant amount of work that we do with ISVs out there. And as we think about our future, we thought long and very, very hard about how to enable that virtualized application by default vision for our ISVs as well. And so we thought to ourselves, well, how do we set the bar super high for us to continue to work towards an incredibly important high fidelity experience for our end users? And what we ended up with was our partnership with Amazon Luna. Amazon Luna is Amazon's video game streaming service. And I'm very proud to let everyone know that it is built using AppStream 2.0. Now, the things that we were really after were those instantaneous gameplay abilities. And one of my favorite quotes actually comes from The Verge, who was trying it out for the very first time, where they said that gameplay was virtually indistinguishable from running it natively. That is exactly the kind of experience that we're after here with end user computing. Now, why take my word for it? Why don't you check out a handful of gamers who are going to describe it to you themselves?
Oh man, I'm really excited.
Okay. I got lots of questions.
All right.
I hate just being like, all right, I got the game. Now I have to wait for it to download. It's update, update, update. Download the patch, download everything.
I like it.
It's loading incredibly quickly. It's very surprising.
It's responding really well to everything I'm putting into it.
Wow, that's awesome.
This is an Amazon product, so that means you're building it on AWS. That's brilliant.
You're giving anybody the chance to play a really quality game without having to spend the dollars on the equipment.
I have 2 computers under my desk, 2 massive towers, and just the idea of being able to get rid of all of that is incredible.
If I could have it right in my pocket or on a Fire Stick ready to go.
So I could literally plug this into any TV anywhere I go.
Now it's just streamlined so I don't even have to think about it. Okay, so you just hook it up. Oh, what?
And there it is.
And it looks just as good as it did on the TV.
Let's see what other games you have on here.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You have Sonic.
I'm sorry. Twitch streams of this game?
Shoot, this is so cool. It's integrated with Twitch, so oh man, that is just genius.
You know, with all this cloud-based stuff, this is what should be happening.
So I can take this home with me, right?
Thanks to those gamers, and thanks to my colleagues with the Amazon Luna team for your partnership on this project together. Now, just to wrap it all up again, as we put this all together, our view, our vision of the world is a place where the most productive users use virtualized applications by default. So if you think, hey, this is what we're striving for with Amazon Luna, just imagine the type of work that we're poised to do together with your support and with your help in 2021 and going forward. That ends my talk with you guys today, but that doesn't end the great content that we have lined up for you at reInvent. We still have 5 more sessions to go over with you, including and welcoming a number of different customers to the stage as we have in previous years as well. I really invite you to check it out and continue to give us your feedback and support on those sessions. That's it for me. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here today. I look forward to continuing to work with you in the future. And please don't forget, fill out that session survey at the end of my chat so I can learn and improve from that feedback going on. Thanks all. Have a good one.